Listen to something that will explain every inexplicable attack you've suffered in recent years. They gave your photo to God, not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally took an image of you to the celestial tribunal where the destiny of souls is decided. And when God saw it, when he observed what your face reveals about your essence, something occurred so extraordinary that Lucifer, who always maintained strategic composure, completely lost control and screamed with pure rage. And that scream of fury wasn't because you're bad. It was because you're so genuinely pure that not even the most experienced accuser in the universe could find anything to say against you. And when the enemy of your soul runs out of arguments, when the one who lives to destroy you involuntarily admits he can't touch you, that changes absolutely everything. Subscribe to this channel immediately and activate all notifications, because what I'm about to reveal about why your photo specifically was brought before God, what he saw exactly in your expression that made any accusation impossible, and what Lucifer's scream of rage activated in your favor is being systematically hidden from people like you, who have spiritual enemies desperate to silence you. And stay until the absolute end, because I'm going to show you exactly when that photo was taken spiritually speaking, why that specific moment of your life was chosen for the celestial tribunal, and what new classification you received that makes even dark forces have to retreat when they encounter you. Write 777 in the comments if you feel you've been observed intensely by forces you don't understand, and you're ready to discover that your image was analyzed in dimensions where they determine who deserves direct divine protection. First, you need to understand what it really means that they gave your photo to God. Because most people hear that and think of something symbolic or poetic, but it's much more literal and specific than you imagine. There exists a celestial process that ancient scriptures mention, but rarely explain completely. It's called the Tribunal of Souls. It's not the final judgment where all humanity will be evaluated. It's something that occurs constantly, where individual cases are presented before God for specific determinations. It's documented in the book of Job. When celestial forces presented themselves before God, Lucifer came among them as prosecuting accuser. And specifically in Job chapter 1 verse 6 it says that the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. It wasn't coincidence. It was standard procedure. The celestial tribunal where protection, blessing, or testing is decided for specific souls. And in that tribunal, evidence is presented, not verbal testimonies that can be manipulated. Direct visual evidence, your spiritual photo. The image captured of your essence in a specific moment that reveals your true nature without possibility of pretense. Because here's what the celestial hierarchies know. Your physical face isn't random. It's not simply genetics combined by chance. Your expression, your eyes, the way your face reflects your interior, all of that is visible manifestation of your soul. And when that image is presented in celestial tribunal, it reveals truths that words cannot hide. Approximately between 3 months and a year ago, depending on when exactly occurred the event I'm going to describe, your case was presented before the celestial tribunal, not because you committed something terrible, but because someone accused that your apparent goodness was strategic falsehood, that your purity was acting, that you deserve to be tested until you break. And to resolve that accusation, they needed irrefutable evidence. So your spiritual photo was taken. An image captured in a moment where you didn't know you were being observed, where your expression was completely natural, where who you really are manifested without filters or social masks. And that photo was brought before God personally. Now let me explain what God saw exactly when he observed your image. Because it wasn't superficial analysis. It was complete reading of your essence through details that your face reveals, without you having conscious control over them. The first thing God observed were your eyes in the photo. Not the color, not the physical form, but what ancient texts call the light of the soul. It's written in Matthew chapter 6 verse 22. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. Your eyes in that spiritual photo revealed something that cannot be faked. Innocence that survived experience. Because there's a brutal difference between ignorant innocence that was never tested and purity that maintains itself after witnessing the darkness of the world. The first is fragility that breaks easily. The second is strength that consciously chose not to be corrupted. And God saw in your eyes that second class of innocence. He saw that you witnessed betrayal, injustice, cruelty, that you experienced enough human evil to justify becoming cynical. But your gaze still maintains that light that only exists in souls that refuse to extinguish their goodness no matter the cost. The second thing God observed was your complete facial expression, the way your face organizes itself when you're not acting for anyone. And there he saw something devastatingly rare: absence of residual bitterness. Because most people who suffered carry invisible marks in their expression. A tension around the mouth that reveals stored resentment. A hardness in the jaw that shows permanent defensiveness. A sadness in the eyelids that never completely left. Those marks are normal. They're expected. They're what suffering does to human faces. But your photo didn't show that. Your expression revealed something God immediately recognized as a sign of genuinely pure soul. Peace that has no logical explanation considering what you faced. A serenity that only exists in people who completely forgave, totally released, and refused to allow the past to contaminate their present. The third thing God observed, and this was most significant, was something ancient texts called the invisible seal. In Ephesians chapter 1 verse 13, it's written that believers are sealed with the Holy Spirit of promise. It's not metaphor. It's real energetic mark that appears in the spiritual photo of souls that genuinely belong to the light. And your photo showed that seal shining clearly, not because you attend temples regularly, not because you memorize scriptures, but because your way of living, your constant kindness, your refusal to be corrupted, all of that imprinted the divine seal on your essence in a way that no acting could replicate. When God finished analyzing your photo, when he confirmed what your image revealed about your authentic nature, there was a moment of absolute silence in the celestial tribunal, because everyone present knew what that analysis meant. It meant the accusation against you was completely unfounded, that your purity was real, that you deserved not only protection but public vindication. And then God spoke. He didn't whisper. He didn't formally declare. He spoke with authority that made dimensions tremble when he pronounced the verdict. This one is mine. This one was tested and approved. This one receives my official seal of protected, chosen. And any entity that tries to touch him is declaring direct war against me. And in that exact moment, Lucifer screamed. Let me explain why Lucifer's scream is so significant, that it completely changes the rules of how the spiritual world interacts with you. Because Lucifer isn't emotional. He's strategic. He's calculating. He's the one who maintains composure even when he loses battles, because he's always planning the next move. But when he heard the divine verdict about your photo, when he understood that your purity was so irrefutable that not even he could argue against the visual evidence, something broke in his strategy. Because he had invested massive resources trying to corrupt you. He had orchestrated specific attacks designed to break exactly the kind of goodness that your photo revealed. And it was all useless. Your essence remained intact. And now God officially confirmed before the entire celestial tribunal that Lucifer had completely failed in his mission to destroy your light. The scream he emitted wasn't pain. It was pure rage. Rage of someone who invested everything in strategy that failed. Rage of someone who knows he lost not just a battle but the complete war for your soul. Rage of someone who understands that now he not only can't touch you, but that every previous attempt to harm you will be counted as crime against officially protected, chosen. Because here's the devastating truth about what Lucifer's scream of rage means for your practical life. He admitted defeat publicly. And when the enemy of your soul admits he can't defeat you, that establishes something ancient texts call declared immunity. Not because you're perfect, but because your essence is so aligned with the light that darkness cannot adhere, no matter how much power they invest. And that immunity has 3 tangible consequences you're beginning to experience right now. First consequence, spiritual attacks bouncing back automatically. Those curses they sent you, those dark works they did to destroy your progress, those rituals designed to block your blessings, all are returning multiplied to whoever originated them. You don't need to counterattack. The divine verdict about your photo established that any dark energy directed against you will be automatically returned with interest. Second consequence, accelerated synchronicities. That perfect information that appears exactly when you need it. Those right people who enter your life in impossible timing. Those opportunities that arise as if someone designed them specifically for you. It's not coincidence. It's direct result of God ordering the complete spiritual universe to prioritize your path after seeing your photo and confirming your purity. Third consequence, enemies visibly collapsing. those people who attacked you and seemed to prosper. Watch carefully now. Their lives are beginning to crumble in ways they can't explain. Their relationships fracture. Their health deteriorates. Their mental peace disappears. Because Lucifer's scream of rage wasn't just admission of defeat, it was signal to all dark forces that you're officially off limits. And those who harmed you before the verdict are experiencing consequences of having touched a protected chosen. For those who want to go deeper, there's exclusive material in the description and pinned comment. Now I need to reveal something about the timing of all this that will transform how you understand the last years of your life. Because your photo wasn't brought to the celestial tribunal randomly. It was presented at a specific moment for strategic reason that explains why you suffered exactly what you suffered exactly when you suffered it. The celestial hierarchies have specific protocol to determine when a soul needs to be officially evaluated. They don't evaluate everyone. Only those whose light shines so intensely that it attracts attention from both luminous and dark forces. And that attention creates conflict that requires direct divine resolution. Your light began shining intensely approximately between 2 and 5 years ago. Not because you did something heroic punctually, but because your constant kindness, your genuine forgiveness, your refusal to be corrupted despite suffering, all of that was accumulating luminosity that eventually became impossible to ignore. And when your light reached a certain level of intensity, 2 things occurred simultaneously. Celestial forces began observing you with interest, identifying you as potential candidate for special protection, and dark forces began attacking you with urgency, trying to extinguish your light before you reached the point where you'd be officially protected. Those attacks you suffered weren't random. Every betrayal was orchestrated. Every injustice was designed. Every test that seemed disproportionate was coordinated strategy to break you before your case reached the celestial tribunal. Because Lucifer knew that if your photo was presented before God while you still maintained your purity intact, he'd lose all authority over you permanently. That's why the attacks were so intense specifically in the period before your photo was taken. It was desperate last effort to corrupt you before the final verdict. And when all those attacks failed, when your essence survived intact, despite the coordinated assault, your photo was finally presented before God showing purity that resisted fire. And that resistance is what made the verdict so devastatingly favorable for you. Because God didn't just see theoretical purity that was never tested. He saw purity that survived real battle. And that class of purity deserves not only protection, but complete vindication. The exact moment when your photo was taken spiritually was the day after your most brutal test. That moment where you almost broke but didn't, where the temptation to become bitter was so strong that any reasonable person would have yielded. But you didn't yield. And the next day, when you woke up and your first reaction wasn't resentment but gratitude for being alive, in that moment your expression was captured. That photo showed something no acting can replicate. Goodness that chose to maintain itself after almost being destroyed. And when God saw that image, when he confirmed that your light shone even more intensely after the attack instead of being extinguished, the verdict was immediate and irrevocable. Now let me show you exactly what's changing in your life as direct result of the divine verdict about your photo. Because it's not simply spiritual event in distant dimensions. It has tangible material consequences you're beginning to notice. The first thing that will change is your relationship with fear. That constant anxiety that pursued you. That inexplicable terror that something terrible is going to occur. That sensation of being observed by malevolent forces. All of that is dramatically diminishing. Not because you ignore the reality of the dark world, but because now you know you're officially protected by verdict that not even Lucifer can challenge. The second thing that will change is your capacity to discern intentions. You'll begin perceiving with supernatural clarity who's lying, who has hidden agenda, who pretends goodness but operates from darkness. Because when God confirmed your purity, he also amplified your connection with celestial wisdom that allows you to see through masks others wear. The third thing that will change, and this is most satisfying, is that your simple presence will begin affecting people in inexplicable ways. Individuals who operated in darkness will feel uncomfortable near you without knowing why. Your energy now carries the mark of divine verdict and automatically repels anything that doesn't resonate with genuine light. But it will also intensely attract people who are desperately seeking something real in a world full of falsehood. You'll notice that strangers begin seeking you for deep conversations, that people confide secrets to you they never told anyone, that your advice is sought even by those who normally don't trust anyone. Because your photo was approved by God, and that approval manifests as spiritual authority that others instinctively perceive. The fourth thing that will change is your relationship with material abundance. Those inexplicable financial blocks, those opportunities that always fell through at the last moment, those doors that seemed permanently closed. All of that is beginning to resolve because the divine verdict about your photo included decree of provision. God ordered that necessary resources to manifest your purpose flow toward you in ways that preserve your purity. It won't arrive as money magically falling from the sky. It will arrive as opportunities designed specifically for someone with your character, as situations where your genuine goodness becomes advantage instead of disadvantage, as connections with people who value integrity and are willing to pay for it. The fifth thing that will change is your understanding about your purpose, that confusion about why you're here, that sensation that you should be doing something more significant but don't know what. All of that will clarify dramatically. Because when your photo was approved, your specific role in the planetary transformation that's occurring now was also revealed. And that role isn't what you imagine. It's not founding religion. It's not becoming famous preacher. It's something much more powerful and subtle, being living example that purity can survive in corrupt world. Your simple existence maintaining genuine goodness amid cultural darkness is beacon for others who are considering surrendering. Every time you choose forgiveness, when revenge would be justified, you're sending energetic waves that strengthen other chosen who are struggling with resentment. Every time you maintain honesty when lying would benefit you, you're voting energetically for what class of reality manifests. Every time you give without calculating returns, you're multiplying abundance in dimensions that will eventually materialize. Your photo was approved not just to save you individually. It was approved because your purity is necessary for collective mission that transcends your personal life. Let me reveal something about others whose photos were also approved recently. Because you're not alone in this classification. There are approximately 300 human beings across the entire planet whose photos were presented before God in the last 6 months and received favorable verdict. 300 among 8 billion. It's microscopic number, but it's sufficient number to change planetary frequency if they recognize each other and collaborate consciously, and they're being subtly guided to meet. You'll notice synchronicities where you meet people who have something indescribable in their energy that resonates with yours. Conversations that seem to continue dialogue that began in another dimension. Instant connections that have no logical explanation, but feel completely right. When you meet these people, and you will meet them before this year ends, consciously recognize them. Intentionally collaborate with them, because when approved chosen unite, when purity confirmed by God aligns, they create energetic fields so powerful it can transform entire cities. Dark forces know this. That's why they tried to keep you isolated. That's why they work to convince you that nobody else understands what you go through. That's why they made you feel alone in your goodness. Because isolated chosen are manageable, united chosen are unstoppable. But now that the verdict about your photo was pronounced, now that Lucifer publicly admitted he can't touch you, that isolation strategy is collapsing. The other 299 are being revealed to you, and you're being revealed to them. And when that network completes, when the 300 are consciously connected, the transformation they can manifest will be unstoppable. Now I'm going to reveal something about Lucifer's specific scream of rage that explains why certain things in your life will change dramatically in the next 90 days. When Lucifer screamed, it wasn't simply emotional expression that dissipated in the air. It was public admission before the entire celestial tribunal that he had failed in specific mission, and that admission has consequences according to spiritual laws that not even he can violate. The main law is this: when accuser admits he cannot legitimately accuse, he loses all authority over the person he tried to destroy. Not temporarily, permanently. It's like prosecutor who publicly admits in court that evidence against accused was false. Once that admission is officially registered, he cannot retract or retry the case. Lucifer's scream of rage was exactly that official admission, and it was registered in celestial archives as permanent recognition that your purity is real, your goodness is genuine, and you deserve classification of untouchable. And that classification comes with specific privileges that are activating right now. The first is direct access to divine attention without intermediaries. When you think something, God hears it instantly. When you suffer, He feels your pain in real time. When you need something, celestial resources mobilize automatically without you having to formally ask. The second privilege is immunity against new coordinated attacks. Lucifer may feel personal resentment against you, but he can no longer orchestrate massive campaigns to destroy you, because any new attack would be interpreted as direct challenge to the divine verdict, and that would have consequences not even he is willing to face. The third privilege is programmed public vindication. Those people who misjudged you, who believed lies about you, who rejected you based on falsehoods, they're going to discover the truth in ways they can't ignore, not because you seek revenge, but because the divine verdict includes restoration of your reputation as part of the protection package. The fourth privilege is mission revealed with clarity. You won't operate in confusion about your purpose anymore. It will be specifically revealed what role you play in planetary transformation, what unique gifts you possess that nobody else can replicate, and how to use those gifts in a way that preserves your purity while maximizing your impact. And the fifth privilege, the most significant, is what ancient texts call visible seal, not visible to normal human eyes, but visible to any spiritual entity that encounters you. An energetic seal that announces, this one was personally approved by God. His photo was analyzed and confirmed pure. Do not touch under penalty of divine war. That seal is reason why you'll notice that dangerous situations mysteriously resolve before affecting you. Why toxic people lose interest in disturbing you without explanation. Why attacks that should destroy you fail in inexplicable ways. The seal operates as automatic shield that repels darkness without you having to do anything consciously to activate it. But with these privileges also comes responsibility you need to clearly understand. Because now that your photo was approved, now that the verdict classified you as officially protected chosen, you can't continue operating unconsciously. Your main responsibility is to maintain the purity that your photo revealed. It doesn't mean being perfect, it means being genuine. When you make mistakes, recognize them honestly instead of justifying them. When you hurt someone, apologize sincerely instead of defending yourself. When you fail, get up cleanly instead of dragging yourself in guilt. The purity God saw in your photo wasn't absence of imperfections, it was absence of falsehood. It was brutal honesty about who you are, including your limitations, and that honesty is what you need to preserve. Because if you start pretending to be holier than you are, if you start acting perfection instead of manifesting authenticity, the seal can be revoked. Not easily. God is patient. He understands your human navigating complex world. But if you deliberately corrupt the purity that was confirmed, if you consciously betray the goodness that was approved, then the verdict can be reevaluated. Your second responsibility is being conscious beacon for others. Every time you maintain genuine goodness when you could justify cruelty, someone is watching. Every time you forgive when revenge would be understandable, you're demonstrating it's possible. Every time you give without calculating returns, you're inspiring another to do the same. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. You don't need to be heroic. You need to be genuine. Your simple constancy and goodness is more powerful than isolated dramatic acts because it inspires sustained hope instead of momentary admiration. Your third responsibility is to consciously connect with the other 299 approved chosen. When you meet them, don't let connection dissipate through shyness or doubt. Intentionally cultivate those relationships, because when confirmed purity unites, it multiplies power exponentially instead of adding it linearly. Chosen one, now you know the truth about what occurred when they gave your photo to God. It wasn't symbolic event in abstract dimensions. It was real evaluation where your essence was analyzed under divine scrutiny and officially approved. Where Lucifer tried to accuse, but your image revealed purity so irrefutable that he screamed with rage, admitting defeat. Your photo showed truth about who you are that no words can express. It showed goodness that survived battle, purity that chose to maintain itself after almost being destroyed, light that shines more intensely after traversing darkness. And that visual truth was sufficient for God to classify you as officially protected chosen, for Lucifer to admit he can't touch you, and for your life to begin transforming in ways you're just beginning to notice. For those who reached here and want to completely deepen in this celestial knowledge about how to consciously operate with privileges of approved chosen, there exists specific material that costs less than a pizza and comes with complete audiobook and 5-minute meditation guide as special bonus. If you feel you deserve to amplify your connection with divine protection that your photo activated, access is available in the link in the description and pinned comment of this video. If you recognize that your photo was presented before God, and Lucifer's scream of rage confirmed your purity, write 777 in the comments to amplify this frequency of officially approved chosen. Subscribe to this channel and activate all notifications to receive more revelations about how your new classification as chosen, whose photo was approved, gives you access to privileges that transcend common understanding. Share this video with someone who also maintains genuine purity that may be being evaluated in celestial tribunal without knowing, because chosen need to recognize each other before planetary transformation reaches critical point. And before you leave, click on the video appearing on your screen right now to discover how your favorable verdict connects with network of chosen who are being mutually revealed for conscious collaboration. Together, we are stronger.